フルカウンター
Alright boys, so Labyrinth Season 3 is now dropped, so we're going to do a quick and easy guide on how to go through it. What are my routes, what are the recommended teams. So if this video does help you out, then help me out by hitting the like button, and if you are new, then do consider subscribing. Boys, let's just jump in. So starting off, alright, so the first character we're picking is Blue Captain Meteos, mainly because this is a character that actually works through all the floors in our sub-slot. When we start getting our main team, he's a character who can move to the sub-slot without actually replacing him, which means we can then focus on upgrading our ultimate levels, our actual level, or actual super awakening, so we don't have to waste a slot replacing him. But also he does work in a sub slot, so we start to build up our full human team. He's a character we can just move to the back and still get 20% beta stats when our allies actually have 2 or less skills, which is really powerful when we're trying to one-turn a lot of bosses, which means 2 out of 3 of our characters are going to get the beta stat increase. And also the character is a blue character and has a pretty good single target skill, so we do get towards the Sariel fight, which is by far probably the hardest fight we're actually going to go up against here. He is going to come in and actually deal somewhat decent damage towards the boss, so we can actually clear it. So once again, make sure to pick Blue Captain Meteos. He is going to be a stable character throughout the whole team and be by far one of the best picks. Alright, so skipping through the first fight, now we have our passives. Now, it's very important when you're picking your passives, we're gearing up towards humans, because we can actually get Ultimate Escanor on floor 3, and that is our goal right now. So the best thing you can do is get your passive and your team ready for when you do get Ultimate Escanor. So always go with anything to buff up humans, but if you do get lucky like what I got here, where you just get a 10% stat increase, that'll be helpful for, I guess, for the early fights, because you do not get any good humans. So always go humans, but if you do get them bottom ones, like when you get increased attack when your hero is full gauge, it's not the worst one, but anything to buff up humans, that's basically the goal for you. Alright, so skipping through, we got a level up here. Now we get to pick our first character. Now we did get Lolly Merlin straight away, which I was tempted to pick here. However, once again, we are gearing up towards humans. So my first pick here is going to be Green Brunhild, who's actually a really strong PvE character. But by far the best thing, and definitely save my run later on, is our ultimate can actually full heal and heal your allies. So when you're actually low and you don't get the heal option later on, this is by far one of the best things you can do. So if you do get Green Brunhild, by far one of the best picks, so make sure to pick her. But if you don't get any humans here, then I would recommend probably re-roll it, because you have a couple coins to spend here, but make sure you try and just get all the humans you can. Alright, so now we have our first choice. We can either go towards a shop, or we can actually pick an ultimate level increase. However, I think I only use ultimate once. You don't really need all levels apart from CC, but we're going to go towards a shop and pick a new character, and to see if we can get any more humans. And lucky enough, we actually did. So I did pick Green Roxy. However, I need to stress enough that we are going to be against Sariel later on, who is a red character, which means we don't really want green characters. So we are definitely going to replace Green Roxy later on. So be a bit careful. Don't really make a full team of green characters. You definitely want to go towards red or blue, but for now her AoE damage will be enough to probably clear through most of the floors and to make the farming even easier. Our next passages aren't actually great. The 6% defense increase isn't too much, so because it's quite cheap, I decided to reroll, and we actually got probably one of the best ones. A UR buff that increases all of our stats by 20% if all allies are the same race, and that's perfectly what we need here, because we are gearing up towards full humans. However, right now, we're not really going to get the bonus because we have got a demon on the team with Captain Meteos, but once we get another human, we can then move Captain Meteos to the back line, till we're basically getting a constant 20% stat increase, plus the 10 we already have, and then when Melly's in the sub-slot, we are going to be getting an extra 20% if we do have 2 or less skills, so by far the best thing we could have gotten there. Alright, so during this point right now, where you can go to a shop or pick a new character, once again, we want to get human so we can get that 20% stat increase to actually proc here. But also, this is where you can get Blue Lilia, the Christmas one here. And you can see right now, I could have picked Valenti, and I didn't really want to, because once again, going against the Sariel with full green characters is definitely not the recommendation. And I did reroll here, and luckily we did get Blue Lilia, which is what we want here. So honestly, I feel like if you don't get Blue Lilia, you can definitely reset just to get her, because she is going to carry you. Strong single target damage with a flood skill from turn 1, plus all the base stats you do get. A good drain skill as well, because if a character can ult you, they're probably going to kill. So to have a drain is by far the best thing you do here. So make sure when you can, reroll until you do get Blue Lilia. She is going to carry you through the Sariel fight. But also, she's a human, so we're getting that passive to work, and we can now then move the actual Captain Mini to the back line, till we're now got the perfect human team. Alright, so the final phase for floor 1, we now going to be versing the green character, and it's Tarmiel. Now, you can get cucked a little bit by RNG, because you can get a bunch of tier 3 actual attack cards, which will basically almost one-hit your actual Lilia, so depending on what passive you did get, as you can see, our actual Captain Medio's passive is working, and to be fair, I probably would have died if I actually didn't get that the proc a few times, but as you can see, we got quite lucky a few times of him getting mostly stance skills. We're going to make sure we always do drain here, because RNG, the character, can get obviously ultimate within the first turn here. We are going to be keeping Roxy here, and one of her skills does cancel stances, which is going to be somewhat useful against this phase, because obviously the boss does reduce some damage here. So we actually did get quite lucky, I guess you could say right now, to get a good lineup towards the cancel stance here. And once again, he's not doing too much damage. So as you can see, if he got a bunch of tier 3s, I definitely would have died. And during the second phase, we got lucky, he got a tier 3 stance skill, and not really a tier 2 or tier 3 actual attack cards, because I definitely would have died. But then again, we can revive after the first stage here. So once again, just doing good damage with obviously Brunhild, and Lilia doing alright damage. Not the best, but she is there for basically the Sariel fight. But we did actually get a cancel stance skill here, so we can basically just one-shot the Tarmiel. But you can see we did get ultimate Brunhild, and Brunhild is by far one of the MVPs here, because she's able to heal my team. And during the time where we actually do need to heal, and we don't have the option to heal through the passives, then this is by far the best we can do. Also good damage, why not, right? So you can see right now, 21k to, I don't think I healed too much here, because the damage is so low. Yeah, 9k, I mean, I guess it's okay. It did heal us much during this phase, but once we get, you know, more HP, more damage, then it's going to proc even more. So first floor, definitely easy. Once again, I'd highly recommend you get Lilia, and if your Lilia does die, then you can just revive her, but for my option, I didn't need to revive, so we're going to go the left route here, just to heal up properly. Alright, the next passive we did get is actually not the worst one, but not that beneficial on a lot of stages. But we did get the attack increase if our ultimate gauge is fully maxed out, which basically means that ultimate is going to do a lot more damage. And this definitely, I would say, came a little bit handy later on. We ult with, obviously, my Brunhild. She's going to do a lot more damage now, so that does mean she's going to heal a lot more too. But obviously, it does mean when your ultimate gauge is full, you can then use skills before the ultimate to deal even more damage, which will probably end up clearing the bosses even easier. You could reroll here to get more human buffs, but you run the risk of getting, you know, basically a bunch of goddess buffs, so we chose that one instead. Alright, progressing towards the left side, we now get to pick a new character, and I can see right now we did not really get any new humans, so we cannot really replace our green Roxy. However, we can replace her later on, because there are definitely more options here. So instead, I decided because we have a pretty good team right now to actually awaken our characters, so we have more stats. And once again, the characters do so much damage AoE, you're just clearing the whole bosses really easy. Alright, so now we can increase our ultimate level or go to the shop. Ultimate levels don't really matter too much other than CC, but instead we are going to level up our characters, because that is definitely more important here. If I could buy a new character, I would have checked on new passive, but unfortunately I do not have enough coins, because I rerolled so many times before this. So we'll just take the stat increase. More HP, more levels, we'll take it. Alright, so now we get another passive, and once again, these two bottom ones don't benefit my team because I'm not using demons or fairies. However, the critical damage actually isn't too bad, because we're going to be getting ultimate Escanor towards the end of the fight, and that character always crits here. So even though it's little, having 60% extra critical damage is actually better for him. And if we do get the crit a few times, then I guess it'd be better. And I think it may have saved me during the Sariel fight. We'll see that later on. Alright, so after that, we can now pick a character. And like I said, it's important we get a red character right now, because we are about to verse, obviously, Sariel. And Sariel does a crazy damage towards even red characters, but definitely towards green characters. So we actually got quite lucky. We got Sigurd. Sigurd's going to do quite a lot of damage with his AoE card. And his single target skill being Amplify is not the best during boss fights. But once again, we do need a strong single target red character. So instead of re-rolling here, I think he was the best option we could have gotten. And a character that I did use for my first playthrough. So that's the one we're going to go for. He's a demon, so if you have demon buffs on, I guess he will be benefited here, but he still also is a human, so I'm pretty sure all the passes are still working here. Next, we just obviously increase our actual stats here, so we get more awakening and more basic stats. Alright, so Sariel. Now, I actually played this terribly wrong here. To be fair, I could have probably one-shot it, because Lilia does so much, and after taking so much damage, my flood skill wasn't doing that great. And I did get quite a good start with tier 2 here, but to be fair, when I did play through this boss, I had my actual alpha, and I had a crazy HP increase, so I thought I could have tanked a lot more than I actually did. But to be fair, as you can see right now, I'm pretty sure I almost die here. So the actual basic stats from the Captain Medios actually came in clutch here. But yeah, Sariel, you got a one turn, because the character does always heal every single turn here. And like I said, I got absolutely wrecked here. I did not think I'd take this much damage, so I should have probably cleared through turn 1 here. But yeah, as you can see, I would have died here if I didn't have the basic stats. But luckily, we do have our Captain Many to come in here, and because I guess He didn't heal at a certain point. I'm not too sure why. I guess maybe because he wasn't that low. We luckily got a tier 2 here. And we still have 3 skills, thankfully. If I had 2 skills, I definitely wouldn't have killed here. And then once again, our little Captain Medios here doing alright damage here. We didn't crit all there. No, we did crit once. But the critical damage did not increase because I think it's damage cap. But that's what I meant by the character's so much damage. So you definitely want to have Blue Lilia. She is going to carry you. And Captain Medios too. The 2 star characters we did get, by far the best thing here. Now at this point we do get to revive. And I am a bit low. But I actually did res my actual Brunhild. Who then can actually heal my other allies, especially my Lilia, during this turn. Because we actually can use our ultimate. And once again we have now got that passive to where we actually do 100% extra attack when our ultimate gauge is filled here. So it does mean we're going to be able to full heal very, very easy. And at this point, I just target the character who's going to attack the most here. So as you can see, the left character is going to attack here. So after just killing him, we just kind of build up towards the actual. So as you see, after watching ultimate now, we did leave the blue character, so we're going to do even more damage. And then boom, 271k. And you can see right at the end of this world, we do actually full heal by 100, I think almost a million there. I don't know if that's actually right, but like 100k heal there on my Lilia. So we're now full health basically. So now we don't have to actually waste time healing our allies through the shop, or also healing our allies through a certain route. We can keep going towards what's going to benefit us more. Right now, we've got really, really good passives that benefit all humans, but we've got a really, really good human one here. So we get human defense by 20%. The more I remember, I don't think I need this too much here. To be fair, getting attack would have probably been a bit better, but honestly, we'll take it as you are. 200% defense is just guaranteed assurance that we're not going to take too much damage now, so we'll take it. This one's a random node, and we did get a level up here. I think it could be anything, but we got, I guess, quite lucky here. Now, this is important, because now we get towards our first option here, where we can pick between characters for floor 3. And as you can see, we did not get Ultimate Escanor. We got the one Escanor, but I do know that you can actually get Ultimate Escanor from this actual spot here. So I ran the chance of obviously re-rolling, and luckily we did get them. So once again, I think you can keep re-rolling a few times until you run out of points, obviously, but I could have re-rolled twice here. That's kind of what we want to do, but luckily we did get Ultimate Escanor on our first, or I guess our first reroll here. So that's the one character we're gonna get. And honestly, once we get Ultimate Escanor to replace Sigurd, I mean, with all the buffs we already have, I mean, I've already seen people apparently clear through the whole of floor 1 with just Ultimate Escanor alone. So yeah, this is where the video probably needs no explanation, but we now have Ultimate Escanor. We have a bunch of human buffs here. So all I basically do is just go through the shop. Once again, increase all our levels, increase our actual Super Awakening, get any passives that I need. Once again, I check the characters to see what I can get, but once again, I have a pretty solid team, and Escanor is basically the team right now. So if you can get any more buffs towards Escanor, take it, but I would recommend right now probably focusing on actually awakening your characters, and also leveling up your characters too. And that's basically all I do until I get to the final fight. And literally Escanor fingers everyone. I mean, it's simple as using one skill turn 1 to one-shot the whole team. Oh, so right now we did get a pretty stupid passive. A human attack by 150%. Once again, that's basically an extra 150% attack for Escanor, which is outrageous. The character doesn't have gear on, but he basically has gear on. It is stupid. And yeah, we get to the final boss, which is obviously Corrupted Mael. Level 100 characters, Super Awaken 4, so we are going to get the beta stats here, so that's one thing you want to probably go for. Super Awaken 4. Actually, I think for Escanor is Super Awaken 5, because they did change it, but even still, that's good enough, basically, because as you can see right now, Escanor is just absolutely going to one-shot Mael. We did get a tier 2, and we only got 2 cards, so we are going to be getting the 20% beta stats from, obviously, my Captain Melly in the subplot still. Once again, for being the first character you can pick is an absolute MVP here. The character is quite annoying, I think, Mael, but once again, we have such high attack, 33k, insane stat increase. We are not basically dying here, and yeah, one finger basically just kills the actual Mael. Once again, Escanor crit on almost every single hit, and bear in mind we did get the 60% critical damage increase early on, which makes the damage even more here. I mean, just like, it's so easy. Like, do I even need to make a video for this? And yeah, that is it. We can now save our party and now go towards the Labyrinth Death, which is like the new game mode I think they've done now, to where you can now get currency to buy stuff in the shop. And I guess the main thing you can buy is the actual UR card, and also the actual 30 gems. But you do have to clear the event a few times, so you have to rerun this Labyrinth about 3 to 4 times to get all the rewards, basically, which is their new system they've done. But honestly, boys, I literally one-shotted every single boss with Ultimate Escanor, so I'm just going to jump cut through everything here. I mean, the final boss is Fafnir's Spirit. Is the spirit, I think that's inside Sigurd's sword, if I recall from the actual Ragnarok story. This one actually almost survived, but because we actually had to use an actual Brunhild card here. I mean, Escanor, some of them do have to revive, but as you can see, I mean, Escanor one shots, activates the res, and then the boss does absolutely nothing. Maybe these bosses are hard. It's quite a shame because I believe they actually designed a lot of new bosses for this labyrinth, so it would have been cool to see all the animations, but unfortunately Escanor just watches all of them to where I didn't even get to see what any of the ultimates look like, any of their skills, which I'm sure would look good, but maybe you'll see them through a different PvE event. But there we go, boys. That is the Underground Labyrinth, and actually quite a fun one, I think, this time. Although Escanor does break it during floor 3, doing floor 1 or floor 2 is definitely not a challenge, but still quite fun to where it was a bit rewarding. And you've now also changed Labyrinth to where you want to clear it a few times now, because you can go to the shop and buy other stuff with the seasonal shop here. So you're not supposed to clear it once and stop, you're supposed to do it a few times. So yeah, boys, that is all for today's video. Hope you guys did help out. Once again, a very, very simple guide here. Just go towards humans and build up everything you can towards Ultimate Escanor. You can definitely probably do it with a few other races, but I think the key to beating this Labyrinth is by far just getting one main race and building that up. And I think, once again, the best one, I didn't see if you can get Pyro Medi. If you could, then maybe Demons might be the option, but then you have to replace your Captain Mediolis, but I'm not too sure that's worth it. But boys, thank you for watching, and yeah.